welcome to season 10 of the Progressive Podcast, episode 78. I am your host, Mietani Chitambira, and if you are watching this, please take notes. Cool. You know, it's quite crazy that, not that it's crazy, I'm not saying that I wasn't anticipating us getting to season 10 or, let alone episode 78. This is it's quite crazy. This is year 3 of the podcast, and here we are, here we are on episode 78, and it is very, very surreal right now. There's a lot of things that are happening across the board, and it's just an exciting time right now, and this time we will be talking about some goal settings, all right? How to set some solid goals, all right? And it's the right time to have such a discussion. Maybe you've, set your, what's the word? Maybe you've set your New Year's resolutions and you've already failed. That's okay, because that's why goals are there. That's why we set goals, all right, to be able to rectify such things. All right, so I've got a couple of announcements to make before we get into a wonderful episode this time around. Unfortunately, we were facing some technical difficulties with Edmilson's episode. From a visual standpoint, there was just an issue with our editing software and the mobile. We're just having a hard time shooting mobile stuff right now and editing it on our editing software over here. So everything you see we shoot on our phones, we edit it on our phones, right? So that's the thing about technology. Sometimes it lets you down. However, we do have the audio version for episode 77 available, so please do check that out as well. It is available on all your streaming platforms: Spotify, Deezer, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. The choice is yours. But anyways, cool. So how am I doing? I am doing all right. I am actually quite excited going back to Johannesburg, and I think this visa thing has been a challenge, but we here. We overcame. We made it through, and anything that I'm looking forward to is just going back to Johannesburg right now. That's one thing I'm looking forward to, and looking forward to our new setup. I know this is kind of weird, what's going on right now, but it's going on. We are going to do our absolute best to keep pushing out content for you guys, especially some audio visual content. All right, so those are some of the things I'm looking forward to right now. All right, but anyways, cool. Let's get into setting purposeful goals. All right, now what does that mean? What does that look like? So if you want to be somebody, if you want to be that guy, whatever that guy may be for you, if you want to be that girl, that boss lady, that rich auntie, if you want to be that guy, and you want to wake up in the morning, feel fulfilled, go to bed feeling fulfilled, it takes a lot to be that person. And it takes setting purposeful goals. Right now, goal setting is something that a lot of people may say, I tried doing this last year, it didn't work. I tried this, and it worked and everything. But a goal for you is a goal for you. If your goal is to wake up at 6:30 in the morning, Monday to Friday, because that extra 30 minutes gives you a bit of an edge, then that's a goal for you. That's okay. If your goal is to spend only 1 hour on social media throughout the day, that is a goal for you, because you've seen that, I'm actually spending, like 4 hours a day on social media. I could be using that 4 hours to do something a bit more productive, right? And that is a goal with a purpose. All right, it's serving a function for you, and those are the type of goals that I have found to, I personally feel those goals are a lot easier to hit. All right, whereas I want to have a 6-pack, or I want to be shredded, for example. That's a bit vague. What does it mean to be shredded? Is it sustainable to be shredded? Shredded being a 6% body fat, you can get there, but it's very, very hard to maintain. You cannot live at 6% body fat. I mean, you can, but it comes at a cost. Not even bodybuilders, when they're at their peak, maintain that look for that long, for over a week or so, so it gets very iffy sometimes. People are like, oh, this thing of goals and everything. But anyways, we're gonna dig deep, right? And I want to share with you guys, I want to share how I have failed at setting goals. And I'll use last year. Last year, I did not hit all my goals. I didn't hit all my goals. I wrote my stuff in this journal, right, in this book. And boy, oh boy, I only hit a few of those goals. And why did I fail at hitting my goals? I got too carried away by the bigger picture. I got lost in the euphoria of, oh, this is new, let me figure this out. And then you look back at the year and then you're like, oh geez, I actually didn't hit that goal. I actually wanted to read X amount of books, but I only read 2. Oh man, I actually didn't go to the gym as much as I wanted to. Then you just sit there and just like, geez, this was not something that I had planned to do. And for me, that's what it was last year for me. I was in the gym consistently, right? As consistent as I possibly could be. But last year, I was going to the gym to get big or to look for a specific role. And after that, take a good break and then do it again, and that's just what it was. And at the time, it made sense because that was the goal that I was kind of going for. And that's one thing you need to be able to understand. You need to be able to understand the reality that you're in. Don't let social media tell you, oh, if you're not doing this, then you're not a gym bro, or oh, if you're not doing this, then you're not, a child of God, or oh, if you're not doing this, like, okay, cool, there are certain things that you need to do. That's all right. But also, it's your responsibility to figure out what your reality is when it now comes to setting goals. So I failed at setting goals last year. Last year was actually one of the years where I did not do a great job at hitting my goals. I'm going to be honest with you. And it annoys me. And there's certain times when I think, and I'll just be reading a book and it pops up in my head and then it just ruins that moment. You just sit there and it's like, oh man, but I did not hit my goals last year. Yeah, I did not hit my goals last year. It just didn't work out. That's all I can say, because I'm not going to lie to you guys and say, oh no, it didn't work out because ABC happened, then this. No, I just did not hit my goals, and that's what it was. And I think everyone needs to be that honest with themselves. You need to be able to be honest with yourselves. If you did not hit your goal, you did not hit your goal. That's not on your friends. That's not on your mom, your dad, your sister, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. It's on you. You are the reason why you didn't hit your goals. All right. So that's where I struggled. However, in my life, I have won at goal setting. All right. And there's a formula when it comes to setting your goals. There is a formula to it, all right, and it's about creating the right environment. So I'll take you guys back to 2021. I was on such a good reading streak. I saw a statistic. It said 30 pages a day is more than 30. Excuse me, it's more than 30 or 100 books a year. So I was like, dude, find time to read 30 pages a day and let's see how that works. And it worked. I was cleaning books like a dog cleaning its plate of food after a long day of chasing chickens and ducks. Like, I cleaned the books up, man, and it was so nice to start a book and finish it and then pick up another one and finish it. Now it's like halfway through the second month, you've already done 2-3 books, right? So winning and goal setting, it's a formula. Winning is a formula. You have to be intentional. So let's say you now want to read better, right? You find something that you can do consistently. If it's 5 pages a day, if that's what you want to start with 5 pages a day. Be practical. Set something realistic, All right, set realistic goals. All right, don't now say I want to read 5 chapters, my brother. My brother, come here. Don't lie to yourself. Don't do that. Don't play yourself, man. Be real. Be real. So I want to share some tips on how to actually manage your time a lot better. All right, and the first one is be real about your time. Be real. Okay, if you know a task is going to take you more than an hour, give it 2 hours. If it's going to take more than 2 hours, give it 3 hours, but then break those 3 hours down. All right, be realistic. You are a human being. I'm not, okay? I'm not a human being. No, I'm kidding. But there's days where you feel a bit superhuman. You feel like Bruce Wayne, Batman. I am vengeance. And you just want to take over the world, or you want to take over your city, and you just really want to push it, and that's okay, and that's fine. So you want to be realistic, right? I think another tip for goals, right, is to write them down. I know that's a very practical step, right? But write down your goals. Now, I am someone that I try to understand what's going on in my head, and if I don't write things down and I try to keep them here, it just becomes so overwhelming, because already you're focusing on what you need to focus on now, right? And that can be a bit overwhelming depending on the task that you're doing, okay? And then now you have these goals that you want to do, these big things, these really cool things that keep you up at night. Sometimes it's 3 and you're just thinking about that one thing. You're thinking about that business you want to start. You're thinking about that book you want to start writing, or that film you want to start shooting, all right? And it can be so daunting, right? And that's cool. That's great. It shows that there's something about it that pushes you out of your comfort zone, and that's very important, right? But you need to write down your goals. Write down your goals so that when things are tough, you have something to look at, to be like, okay, you know what, man, this really sucks right now, but this is something that means a lot to me, right? And I took the time to write this down, so I at least have to do my best to get it done, right? Because why write something down and not get it done at the end of the day? Cool. And I think my last tip is to do it. Start. Do it. Like Nike, just do it, And if you look at us right now, I don't have Dumio next to me right now, for me, I'm somebody who I can make myself laugh. I can keep myself very much entertained, and I think that is the creative in me. I can keep myself very much entertained. I enjoy my own space, right? But we want to have this podcast, and build it to a point where people are tuning in. Well, people do tune in, but where we're having a lot more people tune in, especially within the African continent. I think we've got about 4 or 5 countries in Africa out of the 43 countries you're streaming in. Would want to bump that number up a bit. But we have a dream with this podcast. We want this podcast to be something that people can feel part of, a community of people that want to make their lives better. That's what self-improvement is all about, right? It's all about those baby steps towards those wins, right? And a win is a win at the end of the day. But just do it, all right? If you want to start a podcast, record with your phone, all right? Just open up your voice recorder and speak into it, all right? If you have a camera, laptop, you know a friend that can edit or whatever, tell them, yo, listen, I got this thing that I want to do, right? This is one of my goals. Do you mind helping me, all right? And if you've got nobody to help you, then go on YouTube and learn. Most of the things I've learned on business and podcasting and everything, I learned it off YouTube. That's what I did during the pandemic. So at the end of the day, here's what you want to do, right? Here are my tips, on goal setting, right? You want to be real. You want to be realistic. You want to write your goals down, and you just want to do it. Just start. Because if you don't start, you'll never find out if you're going to hit the goal or not. All right, cool. So now we're going to go into the quote of the week. All right, and this quote is an unknown quote. I heard this the other day. I don't know from who, so you heard it from me. This is a Mietani quote. Okay, cool. So the quote for the week is: set your goals high enough to inspire you and low enough to encourage you. I'm gonna say that again. Set your goals high enough to inspire you and low enough to encourage you. That's real. That's real. That is as real as it gets. You know, because and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You want something that keeps you up at night, but at the same time, it's the same thing that will get you up early in the morning to do for a couple of hours, if not the whole day. So make sure you're knocking on those goals, man. It's all about progression this side, you know. It's progression over everything. That's what we're all about. So thank you very much for tuning into the Progressive Podcast. It really does mean a lot to us. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and share our podcast with your family, with your friends, with your friends' friends, and your families, so that we can grow our message and everything. And like I said, guys, Episode 77, Edmilson's episode, is up on all our audio platforms, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Apple Podcasts. It's all there. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it up and running on YouTube. So please do check that out. And in case you forgot, or in case you missed out, on the 2nd of March, we are having our SIMP workshops. Yeah, we're having our first ever SIMP workshop. SIMP is actually an acronym for self-improvement. S, self, IMP for improvement. So we are having a time management workshop, and it's a ticketed event. We've got about 20 spaces opened, and a ticket will cost you 180 Rand. We will link it up in the description somewhere below. So please do register for that if you are somebody that struggles to manage your time. So please, tune in, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.